Anyhow, welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, Target Individual Experience. So she's looking at the red vehicle there. I went to help Pam bring up some groceries before I left, and there's a red vehicle there, and in the front of the red vehicle is a cap, and it has the North Carolina Panthers on it, right? So you know, the football team. So she's, as I was bringing the groceries back, all right, I'm not sure if it was her, maybe it was her. She was wearing white, and she stood up in front of the vehicle and was looking at it and was looking at me. And I'm like, what? Oh, the North Carolina Panthers hat? That's what she's looking at? All right, and so why did she do that? See, you see a white vehicle? So you see the color is white tonight, right? So the reason why I looked at it, because again, hijacking my consciousness to have me fixated on something, and then they will engage in staring campaign. Look, you see the open thing, right? Then they will engage in staring campaign. All right, so she's out, so they have her out there. All right, because she stood up in front of the vehicle and looking at the hat with the North Carolina Panther logo on it with her phone, all right, with her phone. You know what I'm saying? So go figure that one. I don't quite, you know, some things I don't even, wonder about, because it makes no sense. Right? But anyway, I don't watch football, so it is what it is. I do not watch football. But yeah, and also you see the Chinese woman there. I tell you, they recruit these religious fanatics to engage in stalking. They'll always find new people, right? They never run out of new people. But anyhow. So Pam, as I was leaving, they tried to guilt trip me. So she was on the phone talking about, about there's no plausible deniability, and they get mad because you don't want to be with them. I'm like, I know she's not talking about me, because I ain't mad, right? I ain't mad. I'm mad because, again, she leaves our daughter home, right? She doesn't. Like I said, yesterday, no laundry. I had to come and do laundry for my son so he can go to his game because his uniform was dirty. Shit like that. That's what I get mad about. I don't get mad with the fact she's dating whoever she's dating. That's her business. But what they try to do, they try to use emotional manipulation to make it seem like I'm jealous and I'm mad, right? I keep telling you, man, and what they'll do too, like I said, is that they will use certain situations to try to emotionally manipulate it, right? But you gotta understand that the reason why they do it is because at certain times, certain things happen, you're at your most vulnerable, right? Or you may be vulnerable, right? And so they will use those opportunities and weaponize those opportunities to emotionally manipulate you. That shit don't work. That shit don't work, because like I said, I'm the type of person that I've always had an analytical mind, meaning that I've always tried to figure shit out. And for the past decade and a half, that's exactly what I've been doing. And they know it. They know it. But again, they want to run this psychological, emotional manipulation program on me, right? But that shit is not working. It don't work. Not with me. And so the fact that I don't want her, right? She wants me to pay attention to her, but I'm not, I may say something to her in jest because I know how her personality like. She likes to think that I'm chasing her. I'm not chasing you. Come on now. Seriously? It's like when I go to the bathroom, I have to walk past her bedroom. The New York Predator Department will start using their sirens. I'm like, why? Why? Like, have you seen her? I mean, I've shown you guys her bedroom, what it looks like. It hasn't changed. It's even worse. You know what I'm saying? So I just have to laugh. And when I laugh about it, they get upset, right? Because that shit don't work anymore. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't work anymore. But it is the mindset of these Negropean women, and you see them on social media, you know, because they think somehow that they are the prize, and they're not the prize. All right? You know what I'm saying? Because what they end up doing is they end up they have not really, they're conditioned with an overinflated ego. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, here you have women who, yeah, they got a job, right? They're overweight, right? The men that they want don't really want them in that way, right? Because those men have been conditioned to only want to sleep with them, and you know, yeah, you gotta have a good time, but you know, get some sex out of it. But that's it. You're not getting a meaningful, lasting relationship, because these women don't want to do any work within themselves to improve themselves. They don't want to improve their image. So what you'll see them do is put on tons of makeup, put on wigs and weaves, right? Put on body shapers, right? And then want to tell a man that he's not a real man, right? You know what I'm saying? So most women today, particularly Negropean females, they are catfishing black males and Negropean males. That's what they're doing. They're catfishing them. They put on tons of makeup, right? They put on body shapers instead of going to the gym. They will spend all this money on body shapers instead of a gym membership to go and exercise and lose the weight and get their body right, so that the men that they say that they're attracted to will take them more seriously. You know what I'm saying? So that is the mindset, and it's a conditioned mindset. I try to tell all the time. All these vehicles making you feel. I try to tell. Like I said, look, I try to give you good advice. I told you that if you don't change your mindset, those men that you meet, they're not going to take you seriously, right? So what a lot of them have accepted is the fact that they would rather be used for sex, and also whatever benefit they're getting, the men I'm talking about, because the men are getting the benefit from the women, because the women are paying for their meals, for their trips, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they want to make it seem like they're like wifey material, and you're not. You're not. You're not. If you can't keep a clean house, you're not. Right? If you don't like to wash dishes, you're not. Right? If you don't take care of your children the way you're supposed to, other than the fact that you're working, you put a roof over their head, you're not. You're not. Right? If you're petty about little shit, you're not. Right? If you have unhealed trauma that you refuse to go and get help to heal from, you're not. So you're going to be just, you know, the girl that they're gonna have fun with, or the woman that they're gonna have fun with, and that's it. And a lot of them is cool with it. A lot of them is cool with it, and they don't quite understand the danger of that, because as they get older, right? As they get older, okay, they end up by themselves, jaded, bitter, and then they want to ruin these young women's chances of finding that kind of men. So that's what you see a lot of women in their 40s and 50s. They're upset with those men who they rejected, because those men are now dating those younger women, or they dating other groups of women, and they don't like it, because our women refuse to understand and to become self-aware of the agenda that has been set forth against them and us and their children. You know, so the agenda against them, their men in their group. And is that number 32? Oh, yes, it is. What is it? 3225? KPN or KPM? Right, man? Okay, KPM 3275. Right? So, you know, so when she want to talk about, as I'm leaving, oh, they're just jealous because, you know, you want to be with them. I'm like, as she said as soon as I walk out the door, and then she follows after me, right? Oh, hold the elevator. You know, I gotta take these boxes downstairs. And so she gets in the elevator, and I'm about to get out of the elevator, and she's shaking her keys in her hand. So I started like hitting the change in my pocket, right? So I started shaking my pocket with the change in it. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is what they do. This is what they do, right? Because, again, she cannot control me, and they gave her this false sense of power over me. But I keep telling her I'm not the one. You know, it won't happen. It won't happen. So what it is, again, they want me to abandon my children, and they're using her to do it because, you know, that's what they do. That's how they get. So these women can say, oh, look, he's a deadbeat dad and he does and such and such, right? But she doesn't want to come out and say it because then it will be on her. You know what I'm saying? It will make her look bad, right? The fact that she's going to tell me, the father of her children, that she don't want to be around our children, right? Which is, again, it's ridiculous, right? But, you know, when you understand their manipulative ways and the manipulative behavior, how they try to engage in this thing, right? Literally how they do self manipulation. So she comes out to follow behind me now, and then as we're in the elevator, and check this out. So when she gets in the elevator, and before I can push the button, she hear the yeah, because you know what I'm talking about is true. And she pushed the elevator button, right? But she pushes it with her, you know, like let me show you guys, like this, right? So instead of pushing the elevator button like, you know, with like this, she does like this. And, you know, I'm just like, wow. All right. I'm just like, wow, man. All right. The type of shit that they do and how they do it. All right. And like I said, for the past couple of days, she's just been wearing all black. So I gotta start wearing all black too. You know, to take that away from them, right? That's what I gotta do. So look at him over there. Look at him over there. Look at him over there. With the black shirt on. Look. I see you keep looking at me and walking back and forth, right? Look. Look. I like fucking with them. So put my bag to the front. I love fucking with them. I like grabbing the scratch over there. Look at them. Look at them. Hilarious. Hilarious. Oh, shoot, man. It's funny. So, yeah. Tell you, man, the shit that they do, you know. So she thinks that because I come over to pick up a list and stuff like that, I got to be the, you know, I got to cook, clean, and all that stuff. Even though she told me don't clean anymore, right? Because every time I clean and she makes a mess, I say something. So you know, it's like she asked me. It's like she said, "Hey, I didn't ask you to put the Alex drawer together." You know, because she got in her feelings and said to me, well, I didn't ask you to do it, so, you know, I said, okay, fine, I'm not going to do it. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, when they, as a man, when they can't abuse you, right? Like he goes into the store. I see you looking, buddy. You get the middle finger. Look. Look. So he goes into the store. She in the store in there. There's a bunch of monitors in there. So he goes and he looks up at the monitor as the dude playing the whatever he's playing. You know. All right. I talk about how they use music to engage in certain types of subliminal message, right? So go back and listen to what the song is saying. Hopefully YouTube don't mute the music because of copyright infringement, but you know, you'll see. I keep telling them whatever they do to me will be done to them. That's why there's no fear here. Right? See, they find it hard to understand that you walk past me, you're looking at her behind. You're looking at her behind. Hilarious. Yeah. They're desperate. Look at him. He's still in the store. Look. He's still in there, man. Like I said, when they get desperate, this is what they do. Oh yeah. Look. Oh yes. I'll tell you. Negropeans. And they will lie, deceive, and they will manipulate. Right? But like I said, I'm an expert in identifying what it is that they do. And I'm going to expose it. Also, you guys say, see a lot of white vehicles, right? This is what they don't understand, right? A decade and a half of studying what it is that they do. And I've become an expert at spotting everything that they do and exposing them for what it is, for what they do.
Where we going?
Oh yeah, they got the ambulance coming out here. See? When their emotional manipulation doesn't work anymore, they'll try to flip it around. All right? This is where our women have learned to manipulate us, because they have taught them psychological manipulation. They have taught them to weaponize their bodies and their mind against us. Right? It's like the football player. Right? Who else? Diddy. Right? Who else? Who else? All these prominent black males male figures who they have an agenda against to try to destroy and take down, because, again, trying to steal their money. Look, him light his cigarette and looking at the store in there. All right. So see how they work together? So he comes, pulled up, light a cigarette, looks over at the store where the guy was in. All right. A lot of white vehicles. See white vehicles turning there. One just passed. And they're doing it strategically too, right? They're doing it strategically. But anyhow, who else I would say? Yeah, prominent black males, right? They are taking them down because, you know what, they have money. That's why. She's saying white supremacists, they'll do what they will try to do to get rid of us. Hey.
How you doing?
I'm like, how you doing?
Tired.
Oh, looking at the white guy behind. Hilarious. You know, looking at the white dude behind. Excuse me. Tell you, what do I always say? They always send one, right? You'll be the only one on the bus.
Can I go back? One.
They'll be the only one on the bus. Oh, sorry. Put my bags in the front, shit out behind this. Trying to show me a picture of his bank on. Hilarious.
Next stop, Church Avenue and Rogers Avenue. This stop is Church Avenue and Rogers Avenue.
Watch the eyes. Watch the eyes. Talk about
Please
staring
exit through the
campaign.
rear door.
Watch the eyes.
Next stop, Church Avenue and Nostrand Avenue. Transfers available to the 2 train, B35 Limited, B44 and B44 SBS. This stop is Church Avenue and Nostrand Avenue.
Pass? All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Last time. No, I saw that. What I'm saying, the mother says she came back Monday. But apparently, what I'm saying, when they must have some kind of camera seen when she came back, somebody along the line, somebody house, but you see, they should have known what she seen. What I feel that she could do if you want to look at home to see when she said she came back.
You're a predator,
She said she came back Monday. Right? I, so what they have to do, what I
Please
see,
exit
is
through the rear door.
somebody must have a camera and she came back when the child was up.
Please exit through the rear door.
If the child was up.
Are you be on the farm and you drive the home? Or
Yeah, straight to the ball.
When somebody take him and he alive, I will take him and be
Next stop, Church Avenue and Utica
Predator
Avenue.
department officers.
Transfers available to B35 Limited and B46 SVS. Please exit through the rear door.
Bunch of predators.
This stop is Church Avenue and Utica Avenue.
Look. You're a pussy department. Hilarious, man. Let me tell you.
Please exit through the rear door. Next stop, Church Avenue and Kings Highway. Transfers available to B35 Limited and B7. to B-17, B-47 and B-8. This stop is Church Avenue and Madison Avenue.
Thank you. Have a good night. All right. Oh yeah. So let me explain. You see, we're all black, using the color black now. Again, using teenagers. What you see in the last bus stop, teenagers. All right, using children. Look. All right. And then look at this idiot. Look at this dude. All right. Look at this idiot. All right. License plate S37 WNT. And now he's gonna leave. Right? Yeah. You get the middle finger, bro. You get the middle finger. Excuse me. Go. Go. Why are you blocking the way? I gotta go that way. You're blocking the street. You're blocking the street. Another idiot. All right? Yeah, New York. New York Predator Department using their sirens. So he wanted me to say something. That's why he did what he did. Right? That's all. You know, talk about the coercive nature that in the things that they do. Right? So he had to block up the street, and then here the New York Predator Department. What happened? You're not flashing your lights? Because I told him he was blocking the street. Look at him. Right? So I don't know what it is that they're doing when it comes to certain things. And I'm going to stay right here until they pass, until they turn. You know, when they do stuff like that, and I'm just like, you know, right? Like, what are they up to, right? What are they up to? 4137. Right? What are they up to? What happened? They were using their sirens, right? That's when you got the middle finger. All right? Letting their ass know. I don't care who. Look, he come whistling. Look, he whistling. Yeah, gray vehicle pull up at the bus stop. See that? Color gray. So they went from white to gray. Or silver gray. Right? This is what they do. Like I said, ain't no fear here, motherfuckers. I'm gonna take everything away from y'all crooked bastards. Qualified immunity, gone. All right? Violation of the Nuremberg Code, illegal implantation, illegal non-consensual human experimentation without my consent, conspiracy against my rights. All right? Conspiracy under the color of law to deprive me of my rights. Oh yeah, I know the laws. I know the laws. All right? And they're not going to get away with it. And on top of that, the fact that they have used the civilian population to engage in covert warfare, covert drugging, poisoning, honey trapping, right? And the use of the microwave and radio wave frequency to manipulate our minds. Oh yeah, like I said, ain't no fear here. I got all the evidence. I got my videos to show you the coercive persuasion programming, the psychological harassment. I can show the patterns, right? Psychological color warfare for emotional manipulation, right? The dark psychology, right? The noise, the violation of my privacy, the noise campaign, right? The transmission of words and suggestions into my mind through BCI, silent sound, spread spectrum, waking me up in the middle of the night, right? Waking me up early in the morning, using their sirens, using helicopters flying overhead to cause psychological trauma and to affect my central nervous system so they can weaken my nervous system, right? Not only that, so they can weaken my body, damaging me, hurting me with vibrational acoustic weapon, which damaged my spine, or I should say weaponized vibrational acoustic frequency to damage my spine. Oh yeah, like I said, I'm an expert, and I know. I am an expert, and I know. And I don't need a college degree, a psychology degree. All right, see, they will try to discredit you, TIs, because you know what is being done. Because you can articulate and explain exactly how it is that they're targeting you. Because you have documented what it is that they do. So when you see the New York Predator Department driving around using their sirens, sending these people on the bus, like I said, white dude, right? All the females that's coming in front of me, I let them pass. They turn around looking at him, right? I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? You want to talk about hate? Like, these people I hate. There is, we talk about the cult of hate, right? At least I do. And if you can go read up on the cult of hate. And this is religious fanaticism, right? White supremacy, right? The Negropeans, the Sambos and Sambinas, the Hispanopeans, the Asiapeans, the Arabians, right? Who, while being used and abused by these white supremacists, well, those same white supremacists are able to manipulate them into abusing their own, right? And then they justify it. And how do they justify it? Because the fact that I may not believe in your Jesus or your God, right? The fact that they operate covertly, right? I keep saying we don't understand the invisible hands that are moving things around, that are setting us up, that are manipulating us. Right? So we want to think it's all about God, right? Like I said, it was that woman who was crying and upset because her son, who is autistic, right, being called the N-word by a teacher, right? And she's there crying. I'm like, okay, where's the father? And then she's talking about, you see, this is why God revealed things, but she never even questioned, well, why would God allow this to happen to your autistic son? And I keep saying, the reason why we are so reactive as a people and emotional as a people is because of this religion. It's also because of white supremacists engaging in the weaponization of psychiatry and technology to manipulate our emotions. And they will participate in doing that to me, or you as a TI, and each other, right? And like here's the thing. The fact that black men have been waking up to what's going on, I mean, yeah, a lot of them still into that religious bullshit, but at least they're waking up and paying attention to the behavior of our women, and so they, you turning that corner there quick fast. You think you're gonna run me over? Okay. I'd like to see you try. All right, you get an ass whipping. But as I was saying, right? So black men are beginning to wake up. But what they're doing because again, these women are very religious. They are teaching the next generation of our children to behave in the same manner. And like I said, black people don't understand history. They don't understand psychology. They don't understand the damage that they're doing to their children. Right? They don't understand the psychological damage and the cognitive damage that they're doing to their children. But they will have their children participate. See, when I was growing up in the 80s, 90s, this stuff, you know, if it was happening, it wasn't to the extent that it's happening now. Okay? They have infiltrated every aspect of society now. Even within the school system, you'll see more and more children bullying other children. Right? It will become pervasive. And it is the religious fanatic. It ain't Satan. Okay? Unless you're talking about them, they are the Satans. They are the devils. Right? The very same devil they talk about in the Bible, that's who they are. They lie, they deceive, they manipulate. Why? Because the stories in the Bible that give them comfort is stories of destruction, stories of manipulation, stories of lies. All right? You want an example? You know me already. I don't just talk it. I like to explain in a way that you understand. So they will always talk about Job. There's a reason why they always talk about Job in the Bible. Right? That's why, you know, in church, they talk about Job. Right? Because God did what? Your God made a bet with the devil, with Satan, actually. Not, you know, I can't say the devil, but Satan. Right? That Satan could do whatever he wants to do to Job. He could do whatever he wants to do to his family, to his crops, to his animals, to his house, but he can't touch Job. What kind of God is that? And then you want to tell me that God is not a manipulator. God is not a deceiver. Right? What kind of God is that? Oh, look at that shit. Look at that shit. Oh, he hit her. He literally tried to run her over. You see? It's a silver gray vehicle, right? See, when they want to engage in their targeting and their perp shit. I got I just got a text. So this is probably planned. Another gray vehicle right there. Silver gray vehicle. All right, let's see this one. This one is black, so yeah. Right? Look, see? See? See, walking all black, we're not black, coordinated. See, what did I say, right? What did I just say? You want to run me over? Look, you can run her over. Right? That's how much they listen to my conversation. This is not a coincidence. This happens after I said that. But he tried to run her over. Right? He turned the corner, don't even look. See what he's doing. So what I'm saying is that this is orchestrated. This is the thing that they do. Okay. So again, let me finish saying what I was saying before I forget. So they will always use that. And you want to know why? Because Job has been taught, the story of Job has been taught to them to keep them passive. Just like the story of Jesus being whipped. You know, you hear them say, well, you know, what I'm going through, particularly these religious TIs. Well, what it is that we're going through is nothing compared to Jesus. He was whipped. Jesus was a fictional character. There was nobody named Jesus that got whipped and hang on a cross to die for your sin, dummies. Wake up. But the indoctrination of religion is so powerful that they literally believe that. That is why, and I keep saying, okay, then if you are going to say that, right, then stop complaining. Then why you complain? Stop complaining. If you are going to say that what you're going through, being targeted, in the matter of you being targeted, being implanted, right, being hit with direct energy weapon. Look, see a lot of cigarette smoking tonight. Right, you'll see a lot of cigarette smoking tonight. You know what? Let me do this. So this was this was all orchestrated. This probably was orchestrated. You know, they do shit like this.
Okay. Take it easy.
So I got the flashlight on my phone on. Look.
You know you got the flashlight on, right?
Yeah, I know. It's for the perps. Like you. Right, for the perps like you. That's why I turned it on. Look, thank you for what? For drinking with me. Right? When they want to, you know what? I'm gonna start doing that. Whenever they try to use that cigarette shit, because they can't use the fire trucks. I explained that, right? So, when I'm able to show a pattern of harassment, then they can't use the fire trucks. They will send these idiots. When they see me, they'll puff. They'll take a puff of the cigarette, so the cigarette light up, right, and so forth. Look at her over there. All right, she got her phone blinking. Look, oh wait, she turned down. She saw me turn, so she turned. So yeah, I'm an expert in proving what I say. I spent a decade and a half, almost 2 decades, studying what it is that they do. All right, and they're emboldened because they figure that nobody's gonna figure out their covert warfare. Right? They figure no TI is gonna figure out their covert warfare. See, we talk about the implantation, the directed energy weapons, silent sound, to microchip and manipulate us, right? Using these technologies, right? But we never, most TIs don't talk about the covert warfare. We talked about, being drugged and poisoned, but it was happening before you realize you're targeted, right? And so, like I said, when I speak to my brother, my twin brother, who was a target in the mid '90s, and then I have another older brother who was targeted in the late '80s. All right. Never could understand why he was the way he was. Brilliant guy, very smart, went to college. Came out of college and. People was like, something is wrong with him, but we know, when you're ignorant, you don't know. You don't know what was done. And like I said, it goes to our bloodline. They're going to target us for many reasons. Some because our bloodline, some because our political activism, some because we may have money and they want to keep close tabs on us, and because of our ignorance, they introduce us to certain things, and like I talk about Sean Combs here, right? And when you look at the person who was giving him the drugs, it was an FBI plant. I mean, we see this in Quantum Pro, right? We see this with Fred Hampton. We see this with the Black Panther in California. And here's the thing: the No Effing Around coalition. The leader of that coalition, when the Feds saw what was going on, when he came out, right, and like I said to my brothers who are members of the Huey P. Newton Gun Club, the Black Panther movement, the New Black Panther movement, and other black organizations, I try to give them information about weaponization of the electromagnetic spectrum, right? Silent sound, right? There's a short PDF, not a pamphlet, but it's an explanation of how technology is used against us, and it's called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, right? And then Dr. Richard Miller, you can find the PDF online, called Synthetic Telepathy. Dr. Richard Miller, who worked on these technologies, and synthetic telepathy is silent sound spread spectrum. It is to use your own voice. They will weaponize you by using your own voice against you. And psychiatry is used to cover it up, right? So psychiatry is weaponized into when victims come forward and say, such and such is happening, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, you're paranoid, you're a paranoid schizophrenic, and so forth, right? Again, this is why I show you guys. This is why I record and I show you guys and explain it to you guys. Because like I said, I became an expert in identifying what it is that they do. And as you can see, the New York Predator Department and their predator officers right, are a big part of non-consensual microchipping of human beings, right? So like I said, anybody want to doubt me on that or question or say that they don't do these things, well, I'll advise you to go and Google Holman Square or the Goon Squad or the gang out of California, that had the tattoo of the Punisher. They were part of a gang, right? That would brutalize people. And if you think New York President Department don't have a black site, they might have gotten rid of it because of then we found out that Tennessee Police Department in Tennessee had black sites. And again, what is a black site? It is a CIA coined term for a facility in which people are kidnapped, right, taken and tortured. Right, that cop in Chicago that spent 35 years on the force, and he was torturing black men. These guys think that this is the movie, right? You look at this war in Iran. The Trump administration, they think this shit is Hollywood. They got rid of all of the generals who have some sensibility to say this is a bad decision. We can't do this, so they get rid of them. Because again, when you look at the Nazis and how they centralized the police power with the federal government and so forth, you see what's going on. And ICE is that centralization of police power and the federal government or the federal law enforcement powers that come into that one unit, right, or that one department, which is ICE, right? So we need to understand that. Okay? And same thing happened in Germany. Manipulation of the German people. Right? And so after the Allied forces went into Germany, and Russia, if it wasn't for Russia, okay, the Allied forces would not have won. I'll tell you that. If it was not for Russia, right? Russia lost over 25 million people, more than any of those European nations combined. So if it was not for Russia, which again, the West don't want to talk about that, but that is the actual fact, all right? But anyway, going forward, what do we see within the German people, right? If you go and you read, there's an article, it's called it's by Krybeck. The art of self-deception or self-deception. I can't remember the exact title, but it was a study that was done on the German people, right? And what they say is because these people have engaged in the crime of committing genocide against the European Jews, even though they didn't put them in the gas chamber, even though they didn't put them in front of the firing squad. The fact is that they called the SS to report on the European Jews. So they took part in the genocide of the European Jews. And then deny it. Then they deny it. They deny it. And what you see is what's happened. As TIs, when we are victimized, the people around us, they'll deny it. So it's funny when Pam talk about plausible deniability. Listen, they all will claim plausible deniability because guess what? They're going to weaponize psychiatry against us and call us crazy. All right? Let's say that we're mentally ill. And though we have been mentally damaged by what it is that they've done to us. There's no doubt about that. Thank you. Putting on your jacket, huh?
Yeah, cola is
What are you trying to do? Didn't have any red and orange. Alright, I'm gonna tell you guys why it's doing that. Why it's doing that. But yeah.
Please exit through the rear
So,
door.
as I was saying,
Next stop, Crescent Avenue and Linden Boulevard.
as I was driving by, my eyes shifted down to the vehicle there, and it said Messiah on the bumper sticker. See, my people, they got to believe that it's only going to be this one Jesus. That's why you always going to be waiting, because Christ is a title that we all can achieve. Okay? It is an anointing. Alright? And that anointing is not by God. That anointing is for those who have knowledge. Those who dedicate themselves to a good cause. Alright? Those who are
This
aware
stop is Crescent Avenue
and have
and Linden
consciousness.
Boulevard.
What, do I know about the girl looking in white? So you see what they do? Power of association. But yeah, so it is a title. Well, you're in front of the bottom. What is that? Pseudomethod. So I can show you guys. There they go. There they go. Alright, I got the middle finger. 4137. Anyway. What the heck did it? Oh, you got the door open? Alright, you're not coming out? Yeah, but you're not coming out. You're not coming out? Stuck under your brake light? As they parked up there, they were over here kicking his feet out. They want a black feet. Oh yeah. Hey, that's what they do. Stay there and have their car door open. See, and also what they do is that they test my memory. But like I said, when it comes to my targeting, my mind has been retrained in a way. What is called, what is it called? The brain has what? The ability for what? What is called what? Brain plasticity. Alright, so you may lose some functions or you may have cognitive decline, right? But certain things, particularly the things that, as I say, as a TI, recognizing their patterns, you get to retain things that
Good night. Yeah, you almost left me, man.
Next stop, Clemson Avenue and Rutland Road. Please exit through the rear door. This stop is Clemson Avenue and Rutland Road. Next stop, East New York Avenue South and York Avenue.
Thank you. Have a good night. He pumping his hands. He pumping his hands like this. All right, I'm telling you, these people, they're liars, deceivers, manipulators, and they are coming because why? Because my purpose is greater than theirs, and they got to test it out. You know, white supremacists. They see a black man standing firm. You know, all of a sudden that they're activated, right? Talk about the relationship between white people and black people. It is lot of a psychopathic, sociopathic one on the part of white people. All right, they have to destroy black people because it makes them feel good, right? And in order to do that, they have to condition us into who they say we are, right? And it's going to be negative. And so, as with anything, in order to justify the genocide of a group of people, they have to villainize them. And yet Negropeans have yet to understand that. And they'll do it on the individual level and then get those very same people to turn on their own, right? You know, when I say, you know, there's the term in which we call, you know, certain types of Negropean male and female, right? You call them hyenas, okay? And what do hyenas do? Hyenas will eat their own. And what do the hyena female do? What is her personality trait? She may be the female, but she is the alpha. She is the male in terms of the aggressiveness, in terms of the, and then also, all right, she has a retractable vagina. So when she's having sex with the male, a hyena, the vagina stretches out. So that's the hyena female, the Negropean hyena female. Her masculinity makes her believe that she has a penis, right? And so what they do is to feminize the male, the black male, right? The Negropean males. Okay? Just like the hyena. And I talk about how they use studies, how they use manipulative. Oh, wait, is that the New York Predator Department? Hold up now. Oh, yeah. That is the New York Predator Department. Oh, shit, look at that. Look at, what did I say? Is that the New York Predator Department? Let me see, are they in their vehicle? Vehicle number what? 4335. Okay, let me see if they're gonna come out. Let me see if they're gonna come out. Where are they? Again, 71st Precinct. Predators at the 71st Precinct. All right? Anyhow. So they like to show themselves, right? But except, see how they disappear? They're not in their vehicle. They should do that to me all the time. Anyhow. As I was saying, I'm gonna chill out here for a little bit, see if they're gonna come out. But yeah, so that mindset, right? That mindset again is where, that's where you see these mothers in the destructive mindset that they instill in these children, along with the white supremacist conditioning. Don't run, bro, don't run, slow down, you're gonna hurt yourself, right? You know, so that's why you see these young Negropean males who have no discipline, no structure, right? You know, that's why they are so violent against each other. And it's been like that, but we have to open up our minds and understand and see what's going on and realize what's going on. All right, anyhow. It's another Sambo that used to get to target me. Anyhow, talk to you guys in the next video. I guess they're not coming out. Maybe they'll come out when I enter into the building. And so, all right. Anyhow, talk to you guys next video.